Real estate has always been the great American scoreboard, and nothing keeps score quite like a zip code. Across the 50 states, the priciest ones range from billionaire islands reachable only by ferry to sleepy college towns where the homes cost far more than the locals' paychecks. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore the richest zip code in every state. Alabama opens the list at Crane Hill, where zip code 35053 carries a median listing price of $759,900. The number comes almost entirely from the shoreline of Lewis Smith Lake, the deepest lake in the state at 264 feet and one of the cleanest in the country, with more than 500 miles of wooded coastline. This is lake house money rather than old money, the kind of place where the docks and boathouses do most of the heavy lifting. Up in Alaska, the honor goes to Anchorage's 99516, where homes list at a median price of $735,000. The zip code climbs the foothills on the city's south side, a neighborhood of big lots and bigger views where living rooms look out over Cook Inlet and the surrounding peaks. For a state this rugged, the luxury here is less about square footage than about waking up with $1,000,000 view. Arizona's most expensive zip code is no surprise to anyone who has driven between Phoenix and Scottsdale. Paradise Valley and its 85253 post a median listing price of nearly $4.5 million, with homes actually closing around $3.5 million in a record year. This is the desert at its most indulgent, a town built around resort spas, golf, and walls of glass framing Camelback and Mummy Mountain. It has held the state title for 7 years running, and it shows no signs of stepping aside. Arkansas delivers the first real surprise. The tiny community of Royal and its 71968 zip code lead the state with a median listing price of $749,000, despite a median household income of around $75,600. The secret is Lake Ouachita, a sprawling and unusually clear reservoir west of Hot Springs, where waterfront homes command prices the rest of the county never sees. It is a reminder that in much of America, the most expensive address is wherever the water is. California predictably plays in a different league. Atherton's 94027 lists at a median of $10.35 million and sells at well over 8, numbers that recently ended its 8-year reign as the most expensive zip code in the entire country. There is almost no commercial zoning, lots start at a full acre, and neighbors have included tech founders and professional athletes. One 10,000 square foot home here sold for $51.5 million, which in Atherton barely raises an eyebrow. Colorado's belongs to Aspen, where the 81611 zip code asks a median of $4.2 million. The figure tells only half the story, because the year-round residents earn a median of just under $83,000, a gap explained by the fact that the trophy chalets here are second, third, or fourth homes. Slopeside estates and working ranches share the same valley, and a nearby property once hit the market for $25 million with one of the longest zip lines in the country thrown in. Few places illustrate this split between who lives somewhere and who owns it quite so vividly. Connecticut's crown sits in the backcountry of Greenwich, where 06831 lists at a median of $3.495 million. This is the wooded heart of America's hedge fund capital, a place where more than half of all households clear $200,000 a year and estates disappear behind long gravel drives. In a notable shift, Greenwich recently outpaced New York City for the sheer number of ultra-expensive zip codes, a quiet changing of the guard on the Northeast money map. Delaware keeps things small and salty at Fenwick Island, whose 19944 carries a median listing price of $1.324 million. This is a sliver of Atlantic oceanfront with only around 500 year-round residents sitting on the Maryland line just above the neon of Ocean City. Locals call this stretch the Quiet Resorts, and the appeal is exactly that, a beach town's second home where the loudest sound is the surf. Florida now sits at the very top of the national heap. Fisher Island and its 33109 post a median listing price of $10.8 million, having leapfrogged Atherton to become the most expensive zip code in America after a stunning 65% jump. The island was traded to the Vanderbilt family in exchange for one of their yachts, and they built it into a retreat which remains reachable only by ferry, yacht, or helicopter, with roughly 700 households sharing a private club whose initiation fee alone runs $250,000. In a single recent year, the cheapest home changed hands for $1.41 million, while one condominium sold for $23.7 million, which neatly captures the range from merely rich to genuinely wealthy. Georgia heads to the coast and Sea Island, where 31561 commands a median listing price of $4.85 million. This privately held island in the Golden Isles is anchored by the Forbes 5-star Cloister Resort and hosts a PGA Tour event each fall. Among its grand homes is Adelechi 2, the 13,000-square-foot atrium estate of the late architect John Portman, the kind of property that drifts towards the $40 million mark. Sea Island sells a particular brand of understated southern grandeur, and it does not come cheap. Hawaii's priciest zip code is not in glitzy Maui, but on Kauai's lush North Shore, where Kalauia's 96754 lists at a median of $2.825 million. The area wraps around Anini Beach and a string of green, rural coastline that has drawn its share of out-of-state investors and famous names looking to disappear. Homes sell here for around $2.5 million, and much of what buyers are paying for is privacy wrapped in jungle. Idaho rides high on Ketchum, the 83340 gateway to Sun Valley, with a median listing price of $2.275 million. Once a silver mining town, it reinvented itself as one of the country's original destination ski resorts and never looked back. Today, the old storefront shares streets with mountain estates, and the lift lines fill with skiers who could afford to buy the lift. Illinois belongs to Kenilworth, the smallest and richest of Chicago's North Shore suburbs, where 60043 lists at a median of $2.445 million. Laid out in 1889 by developer Joseph Sears as a model lakefront village, it has arguably the wealthiest income profile on this entire list, with roughly 7 in 10 households earning more than $200,000 a year. The homes are stately and the lots are generous, sit along quiet streets that run gently down toward Lake Michigan. Indiana settles on Zionsville, where the 46077 zip code carries a median listing price of $747,550 and a median household income near $178,000. The charm here is a walkable brick-paved main street that feels lifted from an earlier century, ringed by homes of Indianapolis executives. It is comfortable, leafy, and prosperous without ever trying too hard. Iowa's most expensive zip code is the fastest-growing exurb, whose 50061 lists at a median price of $642,180. Just southwest of Des Moines, it has become a magnet for new construction, including the walkable Middlebrook development and a scattering of acreage estates. Median household income sits around $131,000, a young, prosperous community building itself nearly from scratch. Kansas points to the southern edge of Overland Park, where 66221 posts a median listing price of $860,800. This is master plan suburbia at its most polished, set in the wealthiest shadow of Kansas City, where nearly half of all households earn upward of $200,000 per year. The homes are large and new, the cul-de-sacs immaculate, the whole effect one of comfortable Midwestern affluence. Kentucky's wealthiest zip code is Prospect, where 40059 lists at a median of $874,900. Stretched along the Ohio River northeast of Louisville, it blends riverside estates near Harrods Creek with the planned community of Norton Commons. Median household income runs near $153,000, and the overall feel is one of established bluegrass prosperity just far enough from the city to breathe. Louisiana's priciest zip code carries a story most do not. Lakeview, the 70124, lists at a median of $529,000, but this elegant New Orleans neighborhood was among the hardest hit when the levees failed in 2005. It rebuilt itself street by street, and today, its restored and rebuilt homes make it one of the most desirable corners of the city, with a median household income above $120,000. Maine favors Kittery Point, the 03905, just across the harbor from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, with a median listing price of $1.2075 million. Settled in the early 1600s, it is a working seacoast village, where colonial-era Fort McClary still guards the river mouth, and lobster boats tie up at weathered wharves. The median household income of roughly $141,000 hints at the quiet wealth behind the picturesque facade. Maryland sails out to Gibson Island, a private gated retreat on the Chesapeake reached by a single causeway, where 21056 listed a median of $3.39 million. Only about 200 homes share the island, along with a golf course designed by the legendary Charles Blair Macdonald, a yacht club, and a 44-acre spring-fed lake. It is exclusive in the old-fashioned sense, the kind of place where every child reportedly attends private school and the gate actually keeps outsiders out. Homes here close right around $3.15 million. Massachusetts is our only tie. It is a study in how you measure these things. By asking price, the winner is Boston's 02199, a tiny zip code wrapped around the Prudential Center in historic Back Bay, with a median listing price of $4.6725 million. Measured by actual sales, however, leafy suburbs like Weston make a strong case for one 20-acre estate recently listed for $38 million. Either way, this is brownstone and boardroom money, old Boston wealth dressed in red brick. Michigan's most expensive zip code is the Little Beach hamlet of Lakeside, where 49116 lists at a median of $1.65 million. It sits in Harbor Country, a string of artsy Lake Michigan towns that Chicagoans have long treated as their weekend getaways. Many of the homes are seasonal, and the median household income near $123,000 belongs mostly to those lucky enough to live there year-round. Minnesota gathers on the shores of Lake Minnetonka at Wayzata, where 55391 carries a median listing price of $1.395 million. The area is flush with old Twin Cities money, with corporate giants headquartered nearby and a median household income around $174,000. The zip code also folds in some of the lake's most exclusive enclaves, where the boathouses alone would qualify as nice homes in most places. Mississippi has the most affordable chart topper in the nation. Oxford and its 38655 lead the state with a median listing price of just $499,000, the lowest of any state's most expensive zip code. Home to the University of Mississippi and to William Faulkner's beloved Roanoke, the town fills its pricier homes with football weekend retreats and visitors orbiting the famous square. Missouri's wealthiest zip code is 63131, a stretch of West St. Louis County known for wooded estate lots and quiet old money. With a median listing price of $1.299 million and a median household income above $225,000, it ranks among the most exclusive addresses in the metro, where more than half of households earn over $200,000. The homes sit well back from the road, screened by mature trees that have been there longer than most of the fortunes. Montana stakes its claim near Big Sky, where Gallatin Getaway's 59730 listed a median of $2.295 million. This is the corridor that feeds the Big Sky Resort and the famously secretive Yellowstone Club, a landscape of ranch estates and ski retreats. As in most resort country, the year-round income of around $86,000 lags far behind the home values because the people who own the land and the people who work it are not the same. Nebraska's top zip code is 68520 on the affluent southeastern edge of Lincoln, with a median listing price of $645,000. It is a landscape of newer subdivisions giving way to open country, where the share of high earners is the largest in the city. With a median household income near $94,000, it represents a comfortable, capital city version of the good life. Nevada heads to the quiet east shore of Lake Tahoe and Glenbrook, where 89413 listed a median of $3.5 million. A gated enclave on the site of an old 1860s logging and resort settlement, it is one of the richest pockets in all of northern Nevada, with a median household income north of $220,000. Homes here change hands around $3.4 million, and the draw is simple: a private piece of one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, with no state income tax to spoil the vibes. New Hampshire's most expensive zip code is its only island town, Newcastle, where 03854 listed a median of $2.8 million. Home to barely 1,000 people, this historic seacoast village is crowned by the Grand Wentworth by the Sea Hotel and guarded by the remains of Colonial Fort Constitution. In a notable first, its homes recently sold for more than the top zip code in neighboring Massachusetts, a quiet bit of New England bragging rights. New Jersey's gold standard is Alpine, the wooded borough perched atop the Palisades above the Hudson, where 07620 listed a median of just over $5.099 million. It has topped the state for 10 years running, a longtime haven for entertainers and athletes whose gated estates can climb past $24 million. with a median household income near $247,000 and houses selling around $4.35 million. Alpine offers Manhattan skyline views without the Manhattan address. New Mexico's priciest zip code spreads across the hills north of Santa Fe, where 87506 carries a median listing price of $1.895 million. It includes a mix of adobe estates, galleries, and equestrian properties. The blend of genuine wealth and bohemian charm keeps the median household income near $97,000, more modest than the homes might suggest. New York means the Hamptons, and specifically Sagaponack, whose 11962 listed a median of nearly $5.981 million. This oceanfront village has been the most expensive zip code in the state for a decade, its potato fields long since given over to billionaires' estate row. Homes sell here for close to $6 million, and while the official resident income reads modestly, the village's average household income tells the truer tale at over $400,000 per year. The beaches are quiet, the hedges are tall, and the privacy is the entire point. North Carolina's most expensive zip code is Wrightsville Beach, where 28480 listed a median of $2.195 million. A barrier island just outside Wilmington, it has a deep surfing and sailing heritage and serves as both a vacation magnet and a high-end second home market. The median household income sits around $166,000, and the homes are built for people who measure a good morning by the swell report. North Dakota keeps its priciest homes on the north side of Bismarck, where 58503 carries a median listing price of $524,900. Built largely in the closing decades of the last century, these subdivisions house the professional class drawn by state government and the oil boom. With a median household income around $105,000, it is comfortable in the steady, unflashy way the Northern Plains tend to prefer. Ohio's wealthiest zip code is the booming exurb of Galena, where 43021 listed a median of $668,404. Set in the richest county in the state, it is filled with large new-built homes near the Hoover and Alum Creek reservoirs north of Columbus. A median household income close to $168,000 reflects a wave of professionals trading the city for space, water, and a bigger house. Oklahoma's most expensive zip code is the semi-rural 73151 on the far northeastern edge of Oklahoma City, with a median listing price of $848,425. It hides gated equestrian communities with names like white fences, where pasture land and luxury homes share the same fence line. The median household income of roughly $167,000 buys a kind of country estate living within easy reach of the city. Oregon belongs to Lake Oswego, the affluent Portland suburb built around its own private lake, where 97034 listed a median of $1.55 million. Lake rights are a closely guarded privilege here, and the community consistently posts one of the highest median household incomes in the state at roughly $141,000. The result is upscale suburban living with a waterfront secret at its center. Pennsylvania's crown jewel is Gladwin, the heart of Philadelphia's storied main line, where 19035 listed a median of $2.225 million. The estates here trace back to the railroad fortunes of the 1800s, when wealthy families built grand country homes along the commuter line out of the city. With an average household income reported near $450,000 and the Philadelphia Country Club among its neighbors, Gladwin has been Pennsylvania's wealthiest address for as long as anyone has kept score. Rhode Island sends us out to sea at Block Island, whose 02807 carries a median listing price of $2.99 million. Reached only by ferry, the island guards its Victorian-era character fiercely, with nearly half of its land set aside for conservation. The homes that do come up for sale command a premium precisely because so little will ever be built, a scarcity the salty air only sweetens. South Carolina's most expensive zip code is Sullivan's Island, where 29482 lists at a median of $3.99 million. Standing guard at the mouth of Charleston Harbor, the island pairs historic Fort Moultrie with large, breezy beachfront homes that sell for nearly $4 million. It is low country living at its most desirable, all wraparound porches, sea oats, and easy access to one of the South's greatest cities. South Dakota offers one of the most charming surprises on the list. The tiny village of Nemo and its 57759 lead the state with a median listing price of $899,000, tucked deep in the Black Hills National Forest along a trout stream. Site of the Black Hills Gold Rush in the 1870s, it is home to barely 500 people, a historic guest ranch, and the kind of sprawling log home mountain estates that push the median sky high. It proves you do not need an ocean to command a fortune, just enough pine and quiet. Tennessee points to College Grove, a booming pocket of rural luxury south of Franklin, where 37046 lists at a median of $2.095 million. This is Williamson County, one of the wealthiest in the South, and the area's centerpiece is the Grove, a golf and equestrian community favored by Nashville executives and music industry money. With a median household income around $163,000, it offers country estate living a comfortable drive from the Music City. Texas, somewhat surprisingly, crowns not Dallas or Houston, but Austin. The hilly enclave of Westlake Hills and its 78746 lead the state with a median listing price of $2.2 million, prized for its top-rated schools and hill country estates west of downtown. With a median household income near $188,000 and lake access close at hand, it has become the address of choice for the city's tech and business elite. Utah belongs to Park City, the world-class ski town and Sundance host, where 84060 lists at a median of $2.4 million. Trophy estates here can reach as high as $40 million, which is why the resident median income near $128,000 looks so modest against the home values. Like every great ski town, Park City is owned far more widely than it is lived in, its grandest home sitting empty most of the year. Vermont's wealthiest zip code is the picture-perfect village of Dorset, where 05251 carries a median listing price of $1.4225 million. This is a town of marble sidewalks, fittingly, since it was home to the first commercial marble quarry in the country, and of the Dorset Inn, one of the oldest continuously operating inns in America. With a median household income around $151,000, the highest in the state, it draws affluent retirees and second homeowners to its charming streets. Virginia's most expensive zip code is McLean, the Washington power suburb where 22101 listed a median of just under $2.2 million. Home to CIA headquarters and bordered by the corporate towers of Tysons, it is one of the wealthiest communities in the entire country, with nearly two-thirds of households earning more than $200,000. This is where political influence and private fortune live behind the same brick colonials. Washington's priciest zip code is Medina, the lakefront enclave across Lake Washington from Seattle, where 98039 lists at a median of $4.425 million. This is tech billionaire country in the most literal sense, home to Bill Gates and his famous Xanadu 2.0 estate, and former home to Jeff Bezos before he decamped for Miami. Homes along the Overlake Drive have fetched upwards of $14 million, and the median sale price hovers around $4.15 million. For a state this synonymous with software, it is fitting that its grandest homes belong to the people who wrote it. West Virginia's wealthiest zip code is Kearneysville, and the state's eastern panhandle, where 25446 carries a median listing price of $570,000. Close enough to commute to Washington, it has filled its rolling horse country with newer subdivisions and a median household income around $130,000, the highest in the state. It is a reminder that West Virginia's priciest corner owes much of its prosperity to the capital next door. Wisconsin closes in on Lake Michigan, where the 53097 listed a median of $844,900. Spread across large wooded lots north of Milwaukee, it is a suburb of country clubs and equestrian estates where roughly a third of households earn more than $200,000 per year. With a median household income around $136,000, it offers room to roam without straying far from the city. Wyoming rounds out the list in spectacular fashion at Teton Village, the base of Jackson Hole Mountain Resort, where 83025 lists at a median of $4.995 million. With no state income tax and a landscape of protected wilderness pressing in on every side, Teton County has become a magnet for the ultra-wealthy seeking both exclusivity and a tax haven with a view. The resident median income near $99,000 barely registers against those prices. The final and clearest example of a place owned by people who mostly live somewhere else. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. What stood out to you about this list? Any surprises? Let me know down below in the comment section, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.